Welcome to the Everything Podcast, and in this episode I'm going to be recapping Season 2 of Abbott Elementary. I am recording this episode on Thursday the 16th of April 2026, and funny enough, as of time of recording yesterday, so the 15th of April, my recap for Abbott Elementary Season 1 was released on YouTube. Obviously it's releasing at a later date on audio, just with some of them they release earlier on YouTube than on audio platforms, and sometimes it's the other way around. So yeah, so if you're wondering why it's on one and what not the other, it's just that some of the dates. But as I mentioned in a previous episode, that there will now be a audio episode of the podcast every single day, so it's back to 7 days a week. But on YouTube it is currently, as of time of recording, 5 days a week, and then it'll be going down to 3 from May 2026, when you're hearing this episode, and see, depends. And Matt, who I've mentioned before, animates the episodes, told me they really liked my review of Season 1 and that I should do the other ones, and I'd already planned on doing them. I just needed to find time to do them, so here we are. But before I spoil the events of Abbott Elementary Season 2, here's the trailer.
Yes, and here we go. All right, now it is time to get this party started.
I'm ready to take the year on. I've got it down. These first graders won't know what hit them. That's enough.
Make your voice deeper.
That is enough.
My work is done, Padawan.
Melissa, we don't have enough kids for a full third grade class, so now they go to you.
And how many extra kids?
10. I mean, great.
Melissa, are you okay?
Being a teacher is being asked to show up every day and try our best.
Mrs. Howard, Gregory, I'm glad you're in one place. I have an emergency.
What's up?
What's wrong?
Well, here is the thing.
You know I'm out of here.
This food, you eat like you took a cooking class in prison. Just take that.
Sometimes friendship is the only meal you need.
Thanks for being here. I think of you like a young me.
I think of you like an old me.
This ain't A Star Is Born. I'll shut your tiny ass down.
It's gonna be a great year.
It is, isn't it? This is exactly what I want for myself this year. I'm 100%.
Well, I guess somebody's got it together this year.
Mm-hmm. And I'm happy they're noticing. It's very zen, actually.
You guys gotta see what's in the cafeteria.
For real.
That was the trailer for Season 2 of Abbott Elementary, which was a longer season, full sitcom season actually, with 22 episodes in Season 2. Obviously Season 1 was 13 episodes because it released later on in the years. I think we had a very strange release pattern, like the pilot was released and then after the Christmas break the rest of the season was released, whereas with this kind of 22 episodes, there was some special episodes. There was a Halloween episode, a Christmas episode, the first time that Abbott Elementary does it, not the last, but I will get onto that in a future episode, because actually I'll be recording my recaps for seasons 2, 3 and 4 one after each other, so both on audio and on YouTube. I would expect that they will release kind of one day after each other or the next episode, obviously depending upon if it's audio or YouTube. So yes, that's sort of fun. Back to Season 2, as I said, 22 episodes, and follows on from the end of Season 1 with Jean and Tariq breaking up, Gregory choosing to become a full-time teacher at Abbott, and all of that stuff. Obviously kind of this Abbott Elementary, I think, was a show that was made for my life, based on kind of, I've wanted to work in a school for ages. Still not there as of time of recording, but who knows by the time this episode releases, so again, who knows. But yeah, Season 2 was, as I said, 22 episodes, which is a normal season. Season 1 wasn't that, and Season 3 isn't, but Seasons 4 and 5 follow that same pattern, and I'll explain all of them in future episodes as well. And I'll explain what I'm doing for Season 5 and why I'm not doing it now in my Season 4 recap. But back to Season 2. So yeah, as with all of my recaps, it will be a bit higgledy-piggledy, so as I mentioned, there's a Christmas episode, a Halloween episode. Kind of the first episode actually is kind of what is referred to in the UK as an inset day. In the US, it seems to be called Development Day, where kind of the staff go in to prepare stuff while the pupils are still off school. So normally it's the day before or the week, but the last day before the kids come back in usually. So yeah, that's kind of what that is. So let's have a look at the episode titles, and it might remind me because it's been a while. Because as I've mentioned in previous episodes, I tend to review episodes in blocks. So I just was waiting for episodes that I was enough episodes for me to make sense to record instead of recording one or two. So yeah, yes, as I said, the first episode, Development Day. This is kind of development week, and then episode 2 is then kind of we visit Addington, which is the kind of the rival school to Abbott, with kind of that has all the money, and there's a charter school which is kind of the US version of an academy, I assume. And actually Tina Swartz, who was in the first episode, who got fired for doing something that she shouldn't do, hence why Gregory replaced her in the first episode of season 1. And then episode 3 we have The Story Samurai, which Jacob was very excited about because he was actually in it. So it's like a performing troupe that goes into loads of different schools. You probably had them at school, I did, or later, or you were then, and then. Yeah, and then what was I saying? And then and he's asked to perform with them, and Janine and Ava try to convince Jacob to how they feel about it instead of letting him decide, and kind of the whole school watch him, and it's really enjoyable. And then season 2 episode 4, titled Principal's Office, is kind of learning what happens when a child is sent to the head teacher's office, or in America, principal. And then we have episode 5, Juice, where Janine learns of a new juice which has more volume in it, so the children get more juice and healthier for them, but it ends up breaking all the toilets at school, with Barbara borrowing Melissa's bat to destroy it. Then we have Candy Zombies, which is the first ever Halloween special of Abbott Elementary, with all the teachers and students dressing up into costumes. Then we have season 2 episode 7, Attack Ad, where kind of an advert is kind of portrays Abbott as being a really bad school, which obviously it isn't. It's an everyday school. It doesn't have all the money, but everyone does their best, which is what's the important bit. And then we learn that the person behind it is the head of the charter schools, who used to be a student of Barbara's, because as has been established, Barbara has been teaching for quite a while. And then we have season 2 episode 8, Egg Drop, where Morton, who seems to be Jacob's arch nemesis for no reason, but more on that later on, that ends up with what was I going to say? That ends up with has a science experiment, and Janine asks to join in, and then it goes disastrously wrong. Melissa joins in, but Melissa's class goes really well, whereas Janine's doesn't, and kind of the point about it is that Janine's outlook on education is kind of do your best, whereas obviously with science and maths there's a right and a wrong answer, unfortunately. Then we have season 2 episode 9, Sick Day, which is where Janine gets food poisoning thanks to Ava leaving her sandwich on the side to make space for one of her side businesses, and there isn't anyone that can step in, so Ava has to step in to help Janine, which is a very interesting episode, because I did remember watching, because I should mention that I had watched most of these episodes previously. Obviously I've done recaps on previous episodes as well, on some of the episodes, but I wanted to do them so it's a full season, so they were all there. And then we had season 2 episode 10, which is the Christmas episode, which is which was a nice episode, and kind of Barbara and Melissa having a tradition that kind of Jacob gate crashes because he's not invited, or chooses not to go and see his or Zach's. I think it's Zach's family boyfriend. Then we have season 2 episode 11, readathon where Janine and Melissa, go head to head to see who can read more books, and kind of it turns out that Melissa cheats, but then Melissa uses a loophole to win. And then we have season 2 episode 12, Fight. I can't remember what that's about because it's not the episode that I think it is, so I can't remember. Then we have season 2 episode 13, Fundraiser, which is what it says, a fundraiser to raise money for a trip to the museum, which is the finale of the season. As with I think all of the seasons, it's a field trip, I think, apart from series 5, but I haven't watched it because it hasn't released, and being in the UK, more on that in a future episode. But yeah, Barbara has a specific way of wanting to fundraise. Doesn't really work, so she asks for Ava's help, and in true Ava style, it doesn't really work. Then we have Valentine's Day, where that's season 2 episode 14, which obviously is the Valentine's Day special. And then it's very what's the word I'm looking for? Very interesting to see because it's very different. And this season it is nice to have those more standalone episodes, because it's not like a drama where there is a little bit, but it's not you don't need to watch every episode to catch up on everything. So, and then we have, or if you do, you would only miss small bits. Then we have season 2 episode 15, Fire, where Barbara accidentally causes a fire. Obviously the fire brigade has to show up and kind of bans any candles, and kind of Barbara takes it really personally. Melissa, we learn, is a big fan of fire engines, based on her family connection to them. And then we have season 2 episode 16, Teachers Conference, which is kind of one of the first times that we have an episode set outside of the school, with just there's no very little they're not in the school for most of the episodes, and with no students, and that's Teacher Conference, where they go to a teacher conference for everyone in the state of Pennsylvania, and Janine and Gregory end up kissing, but believe it's both a mistake. And then we have season 2 episode 17, Moral Arts, where Jacob keeps applying for a visit from a mural arts company who makes a mural for his class, and they they can't agree about what to do, so they then do. And then we have season 2 episode 18, Teacher Appreciation, where the district, who have not been very fond of Abbott recently, have decided to give Abbott 2 tickets to a 76ers game, which is some sort of sport. I didn't quite necessarily understand what that was. I thought it was basketball, or I think it was basketball, it turned out in the end, and Mr. Johnson ended up getting it. Then we have season 2 episode 19, titled Festival, where Abbott goes against, because the legendary charter comes back, trying to turn Abbott into a kind of the US version of an academy. Then we have season 2 episode 20, Educator of the Year, where Gregory has been named Educator of the Year, and he kind of believes it's a very I've got it for a reason, that it turns out it's for optics because of his race and gender and stuff like that, and him becoming a full-time teacher. And then we have season 2 episode 21, the penultimate episode of the season, where we meet Janine's mum. Actually, we've heard a lot about her, and her sister, but we finally see her mum in an episode here. And there's a little bit of a battle between Janine's biological mum and Barbara, her kind of work mentor. So yeah, it's interesting. Then we finish off the season with season 2 episode 22, Franklin Institute, where Gregory has told Jacob about his kiss with Janine and kind of how he feels towards her and all of that stuff. And then that's kind of it, and where that ends, and Janine kind of rejects Gregory a little bit and kind of goes, I need to basically being selfish, as it turns out, because obviously she'd only, as previously established in this season, that she's only been with Tariq and that she's not been with anybody else, so I think she needed that to herself. So yeah, that's kind of it for my recap for season 2. So let me know what you thought of Abbott Elementary season 2 if you watched it, my recap if you didn't, and without further ado, I will see you in a future episode of the podcast. See you then. Goodbye.